Enter Charlie, a masked man with a taste for, well, people. Yep, Charlie is a cannibal. And today's menu is fresh desert human. He's out in the sands chasing a terrified woman who, in pure horror movie fashion, bolts into her house to hide. But Charlie? Oh, he sees her. And like the discount horror villain he is, he ends her with an axe and drags her back home. Then, brace yourself, he starts making muck-and-soom balls out of her. Who knew this dollar store Hannibal Lecter had a secret meatball recipe? Feeling a little snacky and entrepreneurial, Charlie heads to the side of a highway to sell his homemade delights. That's right, our boy's running a roadside gourmet murder food truck. Soon, a car drives by, and a couple pulls up. The guy's craving those mystery meatballs, but the girl's vegan and absolutely not here for the cannibal cuisine, she argues, calls him out, and it turns into a scene. Charlie, always one for a bit, cracks some jokes about meatballs, which the guy weirdly finds hilarious. Spoiler, if Charlie's jokes were meatballs, they'd be dry, overcooked, and tragically underseasoned. Turns out Charlie dreams of being a big-time comedian, but, surprise, being a literal murderer has sort of blocked his Netflix special dreams. Just when the couple decides to leave, bam. Charlie goes full psycho and swings that axe again, taking out the guy. The girl freaks, sprints for her life, and stumbles onto the highway. Lucky break? Not quite. She flags down a car driven by a girl named Eleanor, begging for help. But guess what? Eleanor's in on it, Charlie's BFF, ride-or-die cannibal crew. She sees the girl and immediately knows, yep, this one's Charlie's dinner. Charlie shows up, finishes the girl off, and voila, it's ma-consume o'clock again. Scene shift. We meet Crystal, a mega-famous pop singer, heading to a festival to perform. While driving, she runs into Eleanor, pretending to have car trouble. Being the good human she is, Crystal offers her a lift. Big mistake, as soon as Eleanor gets in, she attacks Crystal, knocking her out cold. Charlie joins the party, and together they take Crystal to their house. There, Charlie ties her up. When Crystal wakes up, dazed and confused, she sees this creeper staring at her. She asks, "What do you want from me?" And Charlie, dead serious, goes, "Nothing. I just want you to be in front of me." Then he starts telling her jokes. Like full stand-up mode, buddy. You kidnapped a pop star just to try your open mic routine? You're not a cannibal. You're a desperate open micer with boundary issues. Crystal, understandably, is completely confused. She's tied up in a psycho's house, and now this clown is trying to test his comedy bits? Crystal, tied up and mad as hell, throws some fire at Charlie. "I will end you and run away." Charlie, man, just sits down to casually munch some flesh like it's beef jerky and he's at a tailgate party. Zero reaction. Bro really said, fight or flight? Nah, I choose bite. Meanwhile, we meet Sheriff Lever. Word's gotten out that Crystal is missing somewhere in the desert, and he's out looking for her. He ends up knocking on Charlie's door, hoping for a lead. Charlie opens up, cool as a cucumber, and says, "Crystal? Never heard of her?" Adds in that he lives alone, like the most suspicious loner ever. He gave off such a definitely hiding something in the basement vibes. The sheriff probably should have turned around and called back up. But nope. Sheriff's too chill and even steps inside Charlie's house. Then Charlie does what Charlie does best. Starts telling his terrible dad-level jokes. Surprisingly, the two hit it off and get a little buddy-buddy. Probably bonded over their mutual lack of comedic timing. Later, Charlie's watching TV when a commercial for a local comedy club pops up. It's open mic night, and anyone can come perform. For Charlie, the wannabe stand-up star, this is the moment. He gets hyped like it's his shot at Netflix glory. He starts vibing to music. Guess what song? Crystal's. And that's when we realize she's still alive. Turns out Charlie hasn't finished her yet, because she's his favorite singer. Imagine being so obsessed with a pop star that you kidnap her but can't bring yourself to kill her because she's your playlist queen. Creepy fan level. Restraining order deluxe. Post-jam session. He casually starts slicing up old corpses. Meal prep. And making more of his signature men-consume balls. Then Eleanor rolls through and asks if she can finally eat Crystal. Charlie shuts her down, saying he hasn't touched her, because fanboy priorities. Later, he checks in on Crystal. She's furious, yelling at him like he's her worst concert experience. Charlie, clearly tired of being dragged harder than his own victims, slaps some tape over her mouth. He flips on the TV while eating and, yep, there's a news bulletin about Crystal's disappearance. Instead of panicking, he starts laughing like he just watched a TikTok of someone that's slipping on ice. Dude really thinks he's the punchline of the universe. Next day, we're introduced to two sketchy dudes wandering the desert. They're probably thieves, and they've come back for something valuable they buried out there. But after a long digging session, they find nada. They look over and see Charlie's house and instantly assume that guy stole it. And let's be real, based on his face alone, they weren't totally wrong. Turns out the thing was with Charlie, we're not told what it is, but Charlie looks at it and mutters, "This is all illegal." Like he suddenly grew a conscience after a full career of murder cuisine. The two thieves break into the house and stumble across Crystal, still tied up. They laugh at her, thinking it's all a joke. Crystal, dead serious, warns them, "Run now." But of course they don't listen. Cue Charlie, kitchen knife MVP. He shows up and instantly ends one of the guys like he's speedrunning a horror movie. The other guy panics and bolts, but Charlie chases him down and ends him too. Charlie doesn't run for cardio. He runs for kills per hour. He checks their pockets and finds something. A poster for the same comedy club ad he saw on TV, with the address and everything. Jackpot. So, Charlie goes to the bathroom, stands in front of the mirror, and starts hyping himself up like he's about to headline Madison Square Garden. He tells himself, "Yes, my jokes are so good. People will laugh so much." Then, in one glorious moment of self-awareness, he stops. "Why am I lying to myself? This is all nonsense. I'm not ready. I can't do this." And there it is, Charlie's first honest moment. Not about the murders, not about the meatballs, but about his jokes being trash, growth. Maybe. Too late? Definitely. After having a mini therapy session with his own reflection, Charlie decides to go talk to Crystal. He walks up to her and out of nowhere asks, "Can you help me?" Crystal, understandably confused, just blinks. "Help you? With what exactly?" Charlie looks all serious and says, "You're an artist. You perform in front of big audiences. Teach me how to face the crowd." Crystal raises an eyebrow like, "Is this guy for real?" But she answers, "It's not something you overthink. You can't worry about the audience. Just go up there and do your thing. Take risks. Life's about taking a leap." And weirdly, her words actually hit. Charlie, literal cannibal emotional sponge, gets deeply motivated, inspired like a Disney character, but with, you know, murder vibes. He gets ready and sets off for the Fun Club. Yep, that's the real name, Fun Club. Brought to you by the guy who stores bodies in the fridge next to the ranch dressing. Sheriff Lever and Eleanor wish him good luck. Which is hilarious because Eleanor literally helps him kill people. This girl out here rooting for her serial killer bestie like it's the finale of America's Got Talent. So Charlie pulls up to the Fun Club. Wearing blood-stained clothes, blood on his face, looking like he just walked out of a horror movie. He really showed up like, "Hey guys, ready to kill?" It on stage. He'd even registered his name as the Cannibal Comedian, bold branding, can't lie. A bunch of comedians go up before him, cracking jokes, getting solid laughs. The crowd's into it. Then finally, it's Charlie's turn. To everyone's surprise, he crushes it. His jokes land, people laugh, and even the first comedian who performed, who also owns the club by the way, is impressed. Dude's so hyped, he invites Charlie back for next week's show. In fact, as a joke, he goes, "Haha, next time bring a dead body with you." Big mistake. You never joke about corpses to a guy who keeps human ribs in Tupperware. Fast forward a week. Charlie actually shows up to the club with a dead body, like full-on real dead person over his shoulder. The host sees him and laughs. "Dude, you really brought a dead body. I was kidding." Everyone thinks it's a prop, just part of his act. No one realizes. It's 100% legit. Charlie didn't bring props. He brought evidence. And guess what? His performance that night is on fire. The dead body literally added life to his set. The crowd's losing it, howling, thinking it's all dark comedy genius. He's so method. They say, "Nah bro, he's so felony." After the show, Charlie's on cloud nine. He gets home glowing with happiness. In his euphoric state, he decides to untie Crystal. Why? Because he wants to celebrate with someone. So he invites her to consume with him, a little dinner party. Of human flesh, Crystal knows exactly what's going down. She knows she's being served people, not pasta. But what's she gonna do? She doesn't have much of a choice. She joins the twisted little party. After dinner, Charlie, still high on comedy fame, ties her up again and gets ready for his next show. Next week, Charlie shows up all excited, eager to top his last performance. But this time, the crowd sucks. They're heckling every comedian, shouting, "Not funny." After every punchline, this audience had the vibe of people who boo puppies and leave one-star Yelp reviews on birthday parties. Just pure chaos. Charlie was fuming. Like cartoons steam out of ears kinda mad. And things only got worse when the comedian sitting next to him started bawling like a toddler who dropped his ice cream. "They didn't even let me perform properly." The guy sobbed. Bro was crying like he'd just gotten kicked off America's Next Top Punchline. Pull it together. Then Charlie's turn finally came. He walks up, trying to keep his inner psycho in check, gripping his props a little too tight. But just as he starts cracking his dark humor, the crowd immediately starts yelling, "Not funny." One guy even heckles, "Hey, cannibal, consume me." Okay, buddy, that's like challenging a shark to a swim-off. Charlie's rage level hit DEFCON 1. And, well, it happened a little while later, that same heckler. Yeah, he got consumed. Literally, Charlie did what Charlie does best. Turn the insult into ingredients. After that unexpected snack break, Charlie cooled down and got back to work on his next big performance. He wrote a killer script. Pun 100% intended. And just like last week, the crowd loved it. After the show, he was chilling backstage when the club owner came over and noticed Charlie's mask. Not just any mask. A mask made of human skin, real Texas Chainsaw haute couture vibes. The owner freaked out. "Dude, what is that?" Charlie, without missing a beat, lies, "Oh, it's fake. I made it myself. Just arts and crafts, you know?" Charlie out here DIYing Ed. Gain chic, Etsy would not approve. But instead of calling the cops, the guy gets interested. People start getting curious about Charlie, asking him where he's from, where he lives. Charlie casually says, "I live off the desert road." The owner gives him a look like he just admitted to being a serial killer on Yelp. "Man, don't say that out loud. I've heard cannibals live out there." To smooth it over, he laughs and asks, "So where do you even get your cannibal jokes?" Charlie smirks and goes, "I don't make them, I live them." The guy bursts out laughing. "Man, you're hilarious." That was not a joke. That was a confession. But the club owner still thought Charlie was just a method actor going real hard for the bit. He didn't suspect a thing. Meanwhile, as Charlie's popularity soared, the club owner started to get a little salty. Because while he built the whole comedy club from scratch, now everyone just wanted to see the creepy dude who eats people and tells jokes about it. Imagine building the stage just to get overshadowed by Hannibal Lecter with a mic. Next day, we see Charlie back at home. A guy walks into his weird desert salon. Yes, this guy apparently ran a hair salon too. Talk about diverse skills. The guy asks, "Hey, why haven't you done your mid-ball sale lately?" Which we're guessing is code for those suspiciously spicy meatballs. Charlie shrugs and says, "I quit that gig. I only did it because I was broke. But now that I'm a comedian, I don't need that job anymore." Translation, now that I'm on stage, I don't need to disguise the murder in meatballs. I can just make punchlines about it. So the next week, Charlie rolls up to the fun club, ready to slay. And not in the usual literal way, but the moment he walks in, he finds out that all the shows are already booked. Not a single slot left. Not even one sad little opening. Charlie's like, "Huh? Again?" This wasn't a one-time thing either. Every single time he tried to perform, the schedule was already jammed. Man was basically the permanent waitlist king. He went from Cannibal Comedian to "Can I perform, please?" Completely fed up, he vents to Sheriff Lever, who dropped by his place for some of those mid-balls. Yep, the meatballs made from something. Charlie sighs and spills the tea. "Man, I'm not getting any stage time, Sheriff." Ever the supportive hype man goes, "No worries, bud, you'll get your shot. I come here just for your jokes. They crack me up every time." Sheriff really out here supporting a murderer like it's open mic night at the morgue. Anyway, next day, Charlie heads back to the club, frustration bubbling like a pressure cooker. This time, he straight up asks the owner, "Yo, why won't you give me a show?" The owner, finally done dodging, tells the truth. "Look, man, your cannibal jokes? They're kinda stale. People are over it. They don't find it funny anymore. That's why you keep getting bumped." Oof, not even his murder material could save him now. Charlie's blood pressure spikes. And where does he unload all that anger? Straight at poor Crystal. I should have never listened to you, he shouts. What did I even gain from your advice? Nothing, and now look, nobody even likes me anymore. Crystal's just tied up like, Sir, I am literally a hostage. Why am I your therapist right now? Charlie's spiraling hard. He hits rock bottom. I'm a failure. I should just die, he says, full dramatic breakdown mode activated. But Crystal, legend that she is, hits him with some tough love pep talk. Your jokes are good, you've got talent, you just need to try again. Honestly, Crystal deserves a medal for motivational speaking while still in literal chains. Fired up again, Charlie starts prepping for another performance. But one of his so-called friends tells him to drop it. That it's over, Charlie ain't having it. Shut up, he snaps. You're just my assistant. I say what happens here. Bro's out here acting like he's running a cannibal-themed Fortune 500, but plot twist. This assistant dude? He gets a little too inspired. He puts on Charlie's iconic look, full cannibal cosplay, and starts performing Charlie's jokes himself. On stage, in public, Sheriff happens to be in the audience and goes, Wait a minute, I've heard those jokes before. That's Charlie's act. Realizing the cannibal copycat is live, Sheriff immediately calls Charlie Charlie. Furious, like about to season someone levels of mad. Meanwhile, the wannabe imposter is recording an ad for his big upcoming show. Where's he planning it? Not in town, not even in a nearby club, but out on the desert road, also known as Cannibal Road. Yep, the same creepy stretch of land right near Charlie's house. Bro really said, let me steal your jokes and throw a party in your murder zone. Now Charlie's about to reclaim his stage, and let's be honest, when a guy with a fridge full of mid-ball marinara gets mad, you better pray you're not on the guest list. Now Charlie? Oh, he was fuming, straight up boiling with rage. The fire of revenge wasn't just lit, it was full-on blazing like a BBQ pit on the 4th of July. And oh, you already know what Charlie's revenge looks like, subtlety? Never heard of her. As soon as the boy leaves his club that night, just trying to head home, minding his business, boom, Charlie strikes out of nowhere like a psycho ninja with daddy issues. He attacks him, injures his feet, and drags him all the way back to his house like a prize catch from a very illegal fishing trip. The moment this guy lays eyes on Charlie's place, he's shook, full-on jaw drop, dead bodies. Check weird meatballs. Check the smell of Febreze desperately failing to cover doom. Double check. The dude looks at Charlie and says, Bro, I didn't take your joke seriously, but you actually are a cannibal? Welcome to the roast pit, my guy. You played yourself. He starts begging Charlie for his life like he's trying to cancel a gym subscription. I'll give you my fun club. He pleads, take it. It's all yours. Charlie, cold as a freezer full of leftovers, isn't impressed. What do you want from me? He asks, voice dripping with creepy calmness. The guy spills it all. I used to be a famous comedian, but ever since you showed up, people stopped watching me. So yeah, I stole your idea. I thought if I copied your cannibal jokes, I'd go viral again. You weren't well known anyway, so I figured, who would accuse me of copying? Bruh, that logic is so dumb it needs subtitles. Meanwhile, we flash back to Charlie's house. And what's happening there? Crystal, absolute legend, certified survivor, part-time motivational speaker, has escaped. Yep. She pulled a full Houdini, broke free, and attacked Charlie the moment she got the chance. Then dipped before leaving, though. She left behind a little gift. A recorded tape. Charlie listens to it later. And guess what Crystal says? I told you I'd end you and run away. Queen behavior, 10/10 savage energy. Now we see Crystal showing up at the exact spot where Charlie used to crack his twisted jokes. And guess what? She's performing those jokes now. Plot twist. It's totally possible Crystal was a cannibal too, because why not? At this point, everyone's got a taste for drama. And meat among the audience? Guess who shows up? Eleanor, because of course she did. She's always around when chaos is peaking and not far behind. Sheriff Lever making another cameo appearance. This man shows up like he's subscribed to Charlie's horror newsletter. And somehow? He's still supporting Charlie. Bro's loyalty is both unmatched and mildly concerning. On the weekend, Charlie decides it's time for a finale. He finishes off that phony comedian guy, like, permanently. And just like that, the story ends.